Just waiting to see if a few more people join, but it will follow the same format as before. So I love it, Denise. That's perfect.
I did it because you give me incentive.
That's
And
awesome.
this is green. It doesn't look like it, but it's a dark green.
I love it.
I've got to find something. We're just going to keep going. We're just going to
do it. I say do it. Let's have fun.
We're having snow on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully we're Kim and I are at we're past our last expected frost date. So now the weather is moving into pleasant springtime temperatures.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
You.
Today's windy, but it's better than it was last week. Last week was that chance of freezing rain. It just, I don't know, just keeps coming.
All right. Well, we are 4 minutes past. I'm sure we'll have more people join as we get going. But as you all know, I am Courtney Vance. I'm a project manager at CKC Consulting, and I will be leading today's CRM Chats discussion, which will be focused around the CRM or Die book that was written by Courtney Curdy and Chaz Ross Monroe. Now, I happen to know that you have already read it, Denise, because you've received a copy, right? Yep. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all the others on the call have read it as well. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on some questions that are at the back of the chapter. You may have also noticed that they came through as a Zoom reminder email, and we can start going through those. All right, so first question is, do you have an integrated CRM solution for managing client relationships to help the firm win more work? And just to start with that, the definition for integrated CRM solutions is at the front of the book. And it says an integrated CRM solution is a tool to help your firm manage your client relationships and aid in the efforts to win more work. It is not the focus. It exists to support the CRM process, your staff, and the business. So do you guys have any examples of an integrated CRM solution?
One called Uninet comes to mind.
Yeah. That's what we have, Uninet Cosential.
Awesome.
I do know some firms, they use things like Trello, which is, I don't know if that's what it's intended to do, but just any sort of way that you can have a collaborative condition. But since that's not a true database, a CRM doesn't need to be a database, but I'm most familiar with that type of functionality. So
yeah, sure. And I've noticed that other people are using integrations with Monday.com, and actually one of our clients that we work with existing does that, and or they integrate into as they win an opportunity, their accounting department is notified so that they can so that they can get the project number set up, and then that project information kind of loops back into their CRM system. Great. All right. So next question. Do you have and you know what, guys? I forgot we were supposed to do a roundtable of introductions. I'm so sorry. So let's backtrack. So I introduced myself already. I'm Courtney Vance. I am a project manager at CKC Consulting, and I am located in the North Texas area. And I do have a copy of the book. I have read it. I was one of the early readers of it. We had early access since we are employees at CKC Consulting. So with that said, let's go around and introduce ourselves. And we're going to say our name, our firm, our geographic location, and whether or not you've read the book. So let me add that person there. Okay, so first person on the list, I'm going to do Kim.
there. I'm Kim Sheldon. I'm a project manager at CKC Consulting now, but when I attend these, I always think in the construction mindset of a proposal writer, which is what I did for many, many years for 2 different firms. And I am in the Dallas market, have been since I earned my degree here in Texas. I did read the book. I was an early reader of the book. I don't know in life, but at least of this book, I was. And I didn't take great notes as to what else. So I think that covered it. But did I forget something, see, Vance?
Nope, you got it all. Okay, so next on the list, Denise, name, firm, geographic location, and have you read the book?
My name is Denise Yancey, and I'm in Anchorage, Alaska, and we're having snow right now, which is sad. I have read the book. I was really happy to get the book because it explained in words things that I knew but didn't have the words for, and the book does. I don't know if you can see it. And what else? Oh, and I work for Atna Environmental, which is one of the Alaska Native corporations.
Excellent. Okay, so next I'm going to call on Erica.
Hi, my name is Erica Curtis. I'm the Marketing and Communications Specialist at CKC Consulting. I'm in Portland, Oregon, and we are having a sunny day today, which is nice. And I have read the book, but I am very new to CRM. So these discussions are really helpful for me to see how different people use CRM in their firms. So.
Excellent. So if you joined us late, we're just going around and introducing ourselves, the firm we work at, geographic location, and whether or not you've had the chance to read the book CRM or Die. If you haven't read it already, it's not a problem. We're still going to have some good discussion, and you'll come away with it with something valuable. So the next person I'm going to call on is going to be Suzanne.
Okay. Hi, I'm Suzanne King. I just started working for CKC, and I'm in Boston, but today I'm in Maine, Harrison, Maine, and I am on chapter 3 of the book, actually. So I'm reading it, and I agree with you, sorry, Denise, that it is a great way of putting what you know into words that you can actually repeat back to others. It's a really good book. So anyway, nice to see everyone.
Nice to see you. All right, so next on my list, I'm going to call on Doreen.
Hello, I apologize for my late arrival. Hello, Suzanne and Denise. So I'm Doreen Bennett. I'm the marketing coordinator at BWA Architecture. We're here in Boston, Massachusetts. And I did not read CMR or Die. I just heard about it during your last SMPS event last week. So we're just looking at weighing all our options and how to implement a CRM, and first thing is the why. So that's the part I'm on.
Excellent, excellent. And then last on the list for now, I have Megan Young. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Megan Young, and I work at Guidon Design. We're a A&E firm based out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and I've been with the firm for 2 years in April. My role at Guidon is as a marketing manager and our CRM champion. So we use Uninet by Cosential, and I have not read the book, but I am a diehard user group follower, so I like being in on these chats just to hear what everybody has to say.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so I got a little ahead of myself earlier, and we've already covered the first question, but I'll go ahead and ask it again just in case we have some new feedback from other participants. So do you have an integrated CRM solution for managing client relationships to help the firm win more work? And the definition for that is at the front of, or I guess the key takeaway for that is at the front of chapter 3. And it says an integrated CRM solution is a tool to help your firm manage your client relationships and aid in the efforts to win more work. It is not the focus. It exists to support the CRM process, your staff, and your business. So I believe that a lot of us on the call are using Cosential Uninet. Are there any different CRM platforms being used? And do you guys have any current CRM integration? Yeah, so Denise from Atna does, great. I know at CKC Consulting we do as well. All right, excellent. Let's move along to the next question, which is, do you have an integrated CRM solution to increase profitability and create heightened efficiency? So this is a little bit different. So the first part of that is to win more work. And in the book, it does kind of highlight the different scenarios where this might apply. So one example of a CRM solution to increase profitability and create heightened efficiency is there was a story about two different generations in a family business, right? And the father thought that their top client was a certain client, and the son was like, well, you basically had to deliver some hard news that actually, we've been working with them a long time, but they are not the most valuable client. So in that scenario, they created some reports to review their data that they've been collecting to see who actually is our most valuable client, so that we can change our focus and start paying more attention to those clients. We still want to keep the relationship with this long-term client, of course, but as far as where we want to shift our focus to nurture that relationship, we want to shift it to clients that are helping us hit our profit goals. So do you guys have any strategies around that, even if it's outside of your CRM system? Yes, Denise.
We do regular reports that show the win-losses. We can sort them by the client. So we can see that out of the 10 responses to proposals for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we won 8 of them. Now we have the numbers to show the executives why we go after USACE. And say it shows that even though we went after 20 of the FAA ones, we only won 2. That's a good indication of where we're, the status. So instead of everyone just getting a feeling for it, you can actually see the numbers. And then if we wanted, we could see, is it the kind of proposals that we're looking for, and that's where we're going wrong? Or what are we doing wrong so we're not winning those proposals? That kind of stuff. It's very, very helpful.
I would piggyback onto that by saying when I write proposals, there's always the proof point, because you say things like, we know this, we know you client, but if you can say we've worked on this many of this type of project with you, and just having those actual answers or the quantity, like so many over the last 5 years or 10 years. And then conversely, when business development folks get passionate about a project and you're like, pre-selling anything, you can tell me about it. And when you run that through, sometimes those are still go decisions, and you run that to the end. And if you are not selected, you can stand back and say, look at how few of those we were selected for. And that also is a teaching moment to recognize the data wasn't gathered maybe effectively. Sometimes those whispers and enthusiastic just kind of drain the resources. So I found CRM solutions to help with those decisions too.
And another part of that too is when you're looking at these pursuits, we have seen it where some clients will calculate their hours that their marketing and BD team are putting into the efforts, and then compare that to the actual profits of it. They have a feel for how much their average cost for the pursuit might be based on historical data. And if it goes above that range, well, okay, was it justified? We put in this extra work. Was it worth it? Basically, were those resources well invested? And so those are all great ideas and great points. So the next question for discussion is, do you have an integrated CRM solution to improve morale and increase production with centralized data? So this one really hit like, so my husband is also an engineer. And when I read the case study about that, I was like, this kind of sounds like a familiar scenario to me. So it really hit home. But basically inside the book, there were discussions about, reviewing the data related to the personnel and, what loads they were carrying versus what they were projecting to carry, right? And, when they had to make decisions about where to allocate additional resources, hiring more people, having that data at their fingertips was very helpful in making that decision because, it's oftentimes, and this is true for so many situations, the loudest person is not necessarily, the most productive person just because they are projecting confidence and they are, really presenting well doesn't necessarily mean that they're your most efficient or productive employee. And that was kind of where it was coming to. Is anybody using their CRM's integration to kind of help predict where to allocate resources, or do you have plans to do that?
I didn't even realize that the CRM can be used to boost morale or increase production. So I'm going to have to get the book and start reading.
Yeah, it does often feel that it's the other way, right? Because people are like, oh, great, just one more thing we have to do. And there are some highlights within the book that, address those common concerns that can, help you develop a strategy to facilitate around them, to drive adoption, to so that this tool can be useful in making those decisions down the road. All right. And do you have an integrated CRM solution to use for accountability and transparency? So what this is alluding to is oftentimes firms that do not have a CRM system, or it's not a CRM system that's been implemented well, they have the problem of silos, basically. Everything is in different areas and people are very protective of their silo. And, the information sharing, it's just pretty much non-existent, right? And that creates a lot of rework because people have to go through the chain of command to find, okay, I need this thing. Who do I need to talk to find this thing? So having an integrated CRM system allows you to look through the data that you might need efficiently and effectively. Do any of you guys have a problem with silos? Have any of you implemented your CRM integration and found that it's been helpful to share with regards to information sharing and transparency of being able to find the information that people need? So I saw you shake your head, yes, Denise. Oh, and also for Suzanne.
Yeah, the silos problem was one of the biggest reasons we started looking for a CRM, because our construction people had a lot of information, but they didn't share it with anybody, even when we asked. And same with the environmental, same with professional services. And so and yet we still had to produce these reports for the executives. And so that's when it really hit the fan, and we finally decided to do the plunge and start consolidating everybody's information so we wouldn't recreate the wheel over and over again.
Totally. And how's that been working? Has it been working well?
Yeah, we're still implementing the system.
Excellent. And then Suzanne, I think I saw that you raised your hand for a comment as well.
Yeah, it was just about how it had been implemented, but it was still kind of like not a cohesive system yet because people hadn't 100% bought in, but it was starting to get there. And but that was because finally upper management was like, really start using this system because that's how we're all going to operate. And it took a little while, but yeah. So, and then they did start noticing some of the benefits of it. So it was really good in that way.
And you bring up another point, which I think might have been covered in our previous session. Having those executive level leaders driving people towards the system definitely helps encourage adoption. If the boss at the top is like, I don't really care, then the employees that work below are not going to care either. But if executive level decision makers are saying this is important as part of your job and you need to get it done, and then people start to slowly but surely adopt the CRM integration into their daily processes. So, well,
I have a
we
question then
yeah.
about those integrations. I mean, if you're trying to get rid of the silos, you brought up a good point about how people are using this in some cases for productivity and kind of workload management. I know that our firm uses Float to track employee productivity and things like that. Is that an integration? Like how do you determine what you can integrate with CRM? Because right now we just have our ERP connected.
So the short answer is that you have to have a discussion with both your CRM support representative. So if you're using Co-Central Uninet, I think that's I forget what their title is, but basically there's the salesperson that works directly with you, and also with the program that you want to integrate with, and you have to see what fields can be connected. So most likely in that scenario, it would, it could be an API, but that's a process that you would have to get into to know for sure, what is possible. And, if it's not possible, how can you get around that? Because sometimes there's alternative connections that could be used. Is anybody integrating with with the system that maybe took some time to troubleshoot through to, find those fields that could be connected? And what was your experience like?
Yes, we had to hire CKC CRM Consulting to help us with that, so that they can match up the fields with our FDC system. And the problem was the financial people and the IT people were really leery about anybody touching their stuff, getting any of their information. So that's part of what we're still implementing. But once it's done, we'll have all the projects our company has ever worked on, the hours that the individuals worked on them for, which means experience in that kind of job. It'll have all sorts of information, because finance has been collecting all that information for years. So we're still really trying. But yes, we couldn't do it on our own. We had to hire specialists.
Thanks for that. Yeah. So where do you see, once that data is connected, how do you see that, helping you with your, with your pursuits or with any of the other items we've discussed?
Well, like just recently, we had to show which projects in the past did we get good CPAR ratings, meaning very good or better, and it had to do with paving and fencing. So all those are search terms, and in the old days, everyone would just, the construction guys would just remember in their head, oh yeah, I think a couple of years ago we did one, there. Now we can just do a computer search and we'll have it almost immediately. And then we can do the response, because this is a PPQ response for another upcoming FAA project.
Excellent. All right. Well, we are at 4 minutes. So I just wanted to bring you to the last question that we have for the call was, have you been to our website yet? The link is posted into the comments, and this link takes you directly to the page within the website for the CRM or Die book. There is an option to purchase there if that's what you'd like to do. But otherwise, there's additional content there that's worth checking out that does relate to these calls that could be useful to you in your path forward as you do this journey of integration with your CRM system. So with that, I will let you have the rest of your day back, and we'll see you next month.
Nice meeting all of you.
Bye.
Nice to meet you.
St. Patrick's
Take care.
Day.
See you